Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? I'm still pretty ill. Great fun. January's a time for looking back, looking forward, and that's kind of what the next 3 Sundays are going to be about. And today is about the most difficult one, particularly as my story isn't like everybody else's. So, yeah. So, if someone said to you, "What is self harming?" what would you say? A lot of people would be like, "Oh, it's just when you cut." But what, and that's what people look out for. They look out for those signs of cutting, but they don't look for other things. Um, and in my story, I've never cut on purpose. But when I worked in a kitchen, and if I accidentally cut myself or burnt myself, it would hurt at first, but then that pain became bearable and manageable because in some ways it was punishing me. And when I see the scars, I've got one just here from a big burn, and I've got one on my hand from where it burning, but then other times it wasn't so serious. And there's so many other different forms. With the reason I'm wearing makeup today is, I guess it's kind of ironic that my face is so red from me picking at my skin, and sort of I'm having to try and train myself to leave my hands away, and so I tried to cover it up, and I guess everyone does that, and people with acne know that you're meant to leave it, you're meant to not touch your skin, but I can't. It's just sort of therapeutic to sort of, oh, there's a scab, let's pick it. And if there's blood, it's like, oh no, there's blood, but then that blood sort of becomes a symbol, I guess. I know for me. And then the inside of my lips are completely ruined at the moment because I can't stop chewing them. Whether that's a sign of anxiety or as a no one's ever gonna love you, no one's ever gonna want to kiss you, you're never gonna become an actor, you're never gonna sort of something like that. So I destroy my lips, and I have made them bleed in the past 2 weeks. And I don't let wounds heal. Like I had something wrong with my foot earlier, so about 6 months ago. Like it looked like it was infected eczema on my foot, and like loads of blisters and stuff, like sort of forming a line across my foot. And blisters are there to heal, aren't they? You're not meant to pop them before they're ready. But I just kept popping and kept squeezing and making them bleed, and so it got so bad that I couldn't walk on them because it felt like I needed to, that I needed punishing, that I needed that pain to make me remember that I was still a human being. It was hurting myself was the only solution that I could think of, rather than killing myself, essentially. I'm gonna say it. And people, and I overeat, I undereat. At the moment, I'm overeating. Whether that's because the last couple of days have been really rough and I just needed to eat utter rubbish. But before Christmas, I was going a day without eating. I was just having sort of drinks, like I wasn't eating very much. Like literally, I could survive off a Kit Kat a day. Like today, I could have just had a Kit Kat, but I forced myself to eat because I know that I wouldn't otherwise. which isn't great. And people only look out for the signs of cutting because it is the most common in boys and girls, but more likely girls because boys tend to lash out more and punch walls and stuff like that, which isn't considered self-harming, it's just seen as violent. But what makes it sad is that nothing is being done. No one. This is the first time I'm admitting to it. I told my sister before I came back for Christmas that I do. You can't because I painted my nails yesterday, but the skin around my nails is almost non-existent because I just chew and I take it away, and if it bleeds, it bleeds, and that's okay because it doesn't scare me, and it's sort of like, I don't know. And the reason I've never cut is because I've never wanted to, but also because people would know. People would know if I was cutting. But if I overeat, no one can really say anything because I'm eating. If I hurt myself in other ways that people can't see, like with my fingers, like sort of the skin, or picking my spots, or not letting things heal, or stuff like that, no one can do anything because they're considered normal, but I do it more than I should. And yeah, and I'm not saying cutting is sort of the only way and stuff like that, and I know some of you might think that what I do isn't harming, but for it is, because I'm putting my health at risk by over or under eating. I'm risking infection by not letting things heal, and if I have open wounds. And in some ways, what I'm doing is more dangerous than cutting, because at least with cutting, you're just doing one thing, and you can put a bandage or a plaster over it. You can make sure that whatever you're using is clean. But there's so many germs in the mouth, so when you put your finger, when you bite, obviously that's going in there, and if you've got a cut, that's... Anyway, I don't want to cry on camera, so... Yeah, I guess that's kind of it, and this year it's one of my missions is to, as one of my keep fighting resolution things, to stop hurting myself. It's going to take a while. It will. My sister's already on the case. She said that if she ever sees me sort of biting my fingers, she's going to have a go at me, which will work, and my friends are going to make sure that I eat properly. And stuff. I guess that's kind of it. Something's telling me, the reason I've done this video is because something in my heart and my head and in my gut is telling me that people need to hear from someone who doesn't cut that there are other ways that you're hurting yourself, that people aren't paying attention to, but I'm here and I'm listening, and no one ever listened to me, and that's the reason I did it, and I want you to know that you're not alone. Because that's the reason many people do it, because they feel alone, they feel like no one is there to listen, and it's not the answer. I've learned that the hard way. It's not the answer by hurting yourself. And I guess that's all I've got, and I swear that I am here to listen, for you to have a go at, for you to tell me your story, because that's what I'm doing in January. I'm telling you my story as much as I want to. I'm not telling you everything because we've not got to that stage yet in our relationship, but I'm telling you things that you need to hear from someone who, yeah, I'm not a big YouTube star and I'm not going to make a massive difference, but it only takes one person to change the world. And in some ways, I want to be that. If I change one person's world, if I inspire or help just one of you, that's all that matters to me. So before I start crying on camera, because I don't want that, I'll go away.